we're facing currently regarding the immigration rules that have been enacted since late November. We've come up with a couple of things that we're doing. So on Monday, I think we sent home a second letter to our parents and to our community, both in English and in Spanish, talking about how the school district is dealing with the immigration status and the immigration concerns and the anxiety that our communities are having around immigration. No different from what most school districts are doing, but we certainly sent home on today an additional letter in Spanish and in English. So we communicated now twice to parents. And basically, we talk about, I think what's most important, that our parents and our communities know that immigration agents cannot access students without a valid warrant. And that's so important. That's number one. We do not collect or share information regarding students' immigration status. That's number two. That's very important we understand. Student and parent contact information is private. We are protected under the law with that privacy, and we guard that. Parents will always be the first point of contact if we have any interaction regarding any students. We've also have established new procedures around safety and security inside of the school buildings, and I'll go through that in a couple of minutes. I think we ended the letter by talking about what's even more important, that parents feel safe sending their children to school. We have not had a break in our attendance, with the exception of today. We can boast for the last couple of weeks since some of the executive orders that our attendance has only been down maybe about 10 or 15 students on the average. With the exception of today, we understand that there was a national boycott day or something. I don't know if it was an official name to it, but we had across the country, parents and staying from work and holding kids out. So today we certainly had a dip in our attendance. I think it went down to like 69%, and we've been hovering at 85, 86, 87%. So today has been the only day that we've had a significant dip in our student attendance. And so that's good. We will continue to monitor that board and keep you apprised on student attendance, and I check it daily. And we will check it again on tomorrow to see if those numbers increase again. But again, this is the only day that we've had any significant drop in our student attendance since the executive orders have taken place. The other thing we think is very important, and we met with our total staff, that includes everyone, custodians, lunchroom personnel, teachers' aides, teachers, everyone. And I gave you all a document tonight so that you will have all of the actions that we've indicated that could happen and how we will address things. And so without reading it in detail, I do want to just walk through it briefly with enough detail so we can understand. First of all, with the immigration interactions, I don't know if everyone knows, but there are basically 4 organizations that are involved with this from the federal government: Homeland Security, Immigrations and Customs, which most of us have heard of, called ICE, Custom and Borders Protection, and in some cases, the FBI. For us, one of the things that came to our attention, schools, churches, and all of those areas, and you all have heard this on the news, I'm just repeating what you know and have heard, have always been considered what we call protected areas. That law was rescinded on January 21st this year by our president. That means that schools, playgrounds, child care centers, schools, et cetera, are no longer those protected areas under the law, which they were prior to January 21st. I do want to mention, because it's very important that people understand, we are not allowing people into our buildings. If it were to happen, we haven't had any interactions to date, But if we were to have some, they can only come in with a warrant. And basically, there are 4 types of warrants. There's an arrest warrant, an alien arrest warrant. There's a warrant that they call an order to detain or release. There's a warrant for removal or deportation. And then there's a custody determination warrant. Those are the basic 4 types of warrants that these agencies can use if they want to detain a parent or a visitor or something like that. Again, there are 2 basic laws that protect us. One is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, which is FERPA. Many of you probably heard of that. And the other one is the URSA. In order for agencies to get any information on any of our employees or our students, they would have to have a warrant. We do not hand out, even prior to the immigration rules, we do not share that private information. So if any information is out, it means it's been leaked through some other means. And if it's one of our employees in our district, we will investigate it and find out where it came from, and we will deal with it accordingly. So we've established some daily working procedures for our school district to follow. First of all, myself, Dr. Williams, and Dr. Jordan would be primary contacts if we have any actions with any agencies. That means if someone approaches the schools, they will contact Dr. Jordan or contact myself, and we will personally review to make sure that any warrants or any type of intrusions are authentic. That's very important to know. Before any records are released, we've indicated that Ms. Robinson will be our records point of contact. And so once again, we have not released any records to date. We don't plan on releasing any records. Just like in some cases in the past, if DCFS, just as an example, wants information on a student, they have to come in with a court order. And we will stick to what that rule has been as we move forward. We've also looked at each school, and we're making sure that our student data system is up to date. For those of you know, we use PowerSchool as our data system. Parents has access and staff has access. So we make sure that the PowerSchool versions are current and that they're accurate. We've also talked about that with staff to make sure that they don't leave any computers open even during the day. If they walk away from the computer, to turn the screen off, et cetera, to make sure they need PowerSchool information, which is really grades, student grades, et cetera, et cetera. One of the important things we asked all of our principals to ensure was that we do student emergency contact updates so that we have emergency contacts for all of our students. And in most cases we do, in some cases we don't. So we're asking all of our parents to make sure we have emergency contact. If something happens in the community and we need to reach a parent or they're not able to be reached, then we have some emergency information on the parent. We also reviewed our school safety measures themselves. As our standard, all school doors will remain locked. We have a buzz-in system to get into our schools. That's our standard policy. We also have initiated the mandatory usage of the visitor pass system. That means when people come into our building who's not an employee or who doesn't work in the building, they have to go through our visitor pass system where we take their ID, we scan their ID into the visitor pass system, and we get an instant background check on those individuals who are trying to get into our school, who are not a parent or who are just a visitor. We've had that system in place. We want to make sure that our secretaries and our front offices know how to use that. We've also instructed our security personnel to be extra vigilant and to increase their monitoring. In other words, let's walk around. If someone comes in to make a delivery, make sure that they didn't prop the door and leave the door open. We want to make sure that all of our doors are closed. And we've been fairly successful with that prior to this. Everybody knows if you visit the schools, they're pretty much locked and you have to be buzzed in. So we're going to continue that practice. If there's an incident, the principal and the assistant principal must immediately notify the superintendent about the incident. Whatever it is, regarding to any immigration issues, they're to notify us immediately. whether it's student born, whether it's an agent born, or whether it's a community born, we need to know instantly. Again, I indicated that the superintendents will be the individuals that will review, if any, warrants are brought to our school district. We have got copies of warrants, so we know what they should look like, so we know what's legitimate and not. And those warrants, just like everywhere else, has to be approved by a court of jurisdiction. If anything were to happen, we would also send communication home to our parents, informing them that something has taken place in the school so that they're notified the day that that would happen. For our student safety measures, any event of any immigration or law enforcement for any matter, we go on what we call an immediate soft lockdown. So a soft lockdown says that we kind of cease moving in the school at that moment till we find out what's going on, and everyone kind of will remain in their classroom and make sure we remain inside the school buildings. That's always been part of our crisis plan. That plan is updated to make sure that that's implemented as well. One of the biggest things that is a concern of ours is that we provide guidance to students. And that's something that's very important. Our students know what's going on. They watch the news, they're at home, they watch television, they know what warrants are, they know they know what these institutions are, they know what the FBI are, they know all of these things. But what is important is that we hold conversations with our young people so that this does not become part of anybody's prank, coincidentally, which we experienced this past Friday with a young lady. This cannot be allowed. It cannot be a part of anybody's prank. It cannot be used to bully anybody. When those things happen, we will immediately investigate. If someone brings it to my attention or to Dr. Jordan or Ms. Robinson's attention, and the two instances, we have immediately investigated. We're asking for our community support, and if anyone hears of anything, you, even as community or board members, please pick up the phone, and/or you're welcome to come to this office and sit in my face to tell me about an incident. My staff knows that when I found out about any incident, we vetted it right away when we find out. So we had a couple of incidents where we didn't find out till a month and a half later through Facebook. So we have to be vigilant when things happen so that we have an opportunity to investigate and it does not run wild before we have an opportunity to look at what has happened. That we will do. Attendance. We again, in this procedures for staff, to make sure we talk about with our parents, even when they visit, the importance of student attendance. We understand the anxiety from some parents and some community members, even some family and friends of mine. There's a level of anxiety out of people. Some days don't want to send children to school. We need to let our community know that their children are safe here. We're not allowing people to come in our buildings and just interview or pull students out. That is a no-no. And so we do stand for that. We've asked our principals to look at, for the next 30 to 60 days, any field trips that they may have to certain places, and to just kind of minimize it until we've gone through a period of some of these executive orders regarding this immigration stuff. One of the things we don't want to have happen is they go to a large public event and that day there are people out there bothering students. So we've asked them to make sure that they review any field trips so we can minimize that opportunity. I think I indicated we do not allow anyone to interview our students. If someone from the outside has to interview a child, that parent must be present. And this has been the practice even before this immigration crisis. No one will be interviewing students, obviously, unless it's the principal or the assistant principal, but no outsider is allowed to come into our schools and interview our students. So we will continue that practice. One of the most important things that I had an opportunity to talk with staff about is how staff communicates. We all know about email, and we all know about social media. We've informed our staff that district email is to be used for only district business. Any staff member not following that procedure will be disciplined. It's as simple as that. Our email system is not to be used for personal pranks, for personal interactions, or to demean any race or nationality. And if it's found out, we will deal with it immediately. I've also asked our staff to make sure, and obviously it's a personal decision how you use social media. But I've indicated to our staff, this is every single person that works in this district, you control your own social media. But understand that that's something that could come back and bite you. If you decide to go on social media and talk about someone's race or nationality or what's going on with immigration, that could come back and bite you. I can't tell you not to use social media, but if you're an employee in a district, I can recommend that you consider how to use your social media and to make sure that you're responsible when you send messages out via social media. And I'm saying that because that is important. This last little incident that ran about a month or 2 or 3 weeks over social media could have been averted very easily if all of us are cognizant of one another's feelings and one another's race and religion and all of those things that are important to people who interact with us on a daily basis. The other thing, I don't know if you all know about FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act. And so that is a public act that allows people to request certain information from school districts. If that information that's requested is outside of what the law allows, we will send it to our legal team before we share any information. We have not received a great deal of FOIAs, thank goodness. I think we've only had 3 in the last 2 or 3 months, which is good news. So we don't have a lot of interaction with people just trying to find out things that are just general information. We've also talked about the use of technology for our employees. It's very important. Again, the email, the computers, and everything that's out there, and you all may say over the web. We know how that works. Once it's out there, and I'll say that again to board members, once it's out, it's hard to retrieve. We all know that. And so we're saying to everyone, just be cautious about what you put out. It may defame someone else, but also your name is attached to it as well. So we should all be very cautious when we use that. Additionally, with communication, during the day, all of our employees must wear their school and employee identification cards. We want to know who's in the building, and we need to know what their roles are. We've also made sure that every student has identification cards, even in the primary school with the pre-K and the kindergarten students. They have IDs that are in their classrooms. So if something were to happen, we had to pull the group out and relocate them. We know who's at school that day. We have ID cards with them if we had to share it with fire department or anything like that. So we have those procedures in place. In addition, we've ordered a number system for our buildings. So if something were to happen, we're able to send the police to the actual location and they won't be in the building searching for where something happened. So we expect for that whole program to be finalized within the next week or two. The board we've already approved that, and so we're just waiting now on that to be installed. So in other words, if something happens and the fire department calls or the police call, how do they know where to go? And so we'll have a number system, so we'll be able to identify where they can go immediately without having to fish around and look and come in and that kind of thing. So we prepared for that. Additionally, we told the staff that no staff members other than the superintendents or the assistant superintendent shall communicate with any immigration officials. It's just that simple. That's not their role, it's not their job. And if they work for us, then we're not allowing that. It's just that simple. Again, student records or requests for those records cannot be complied without a court order. And the assistant superintendent, Ms. Robinson, will be the person that disperses that. It's also important to know the district does not maintain records on immigration status of students. We don't have the right to maintain those kind of records. Those are parent records. We don't have the right to maintain that, and so we don't. Lastly, we've shared with our staff, and to date, we haven't had any interaction, but we said to them that in spite of all of our efforts to keep anyone out of the building, if someone enters with a court order, we are not to interfere with them and place your own self in jeopardy. You call our office and we will disperse, and if we need assistance from local law enforcement, we will. But we know we have to cooperate, and that's just generally if someone has a warrant. We've already informed our staff on how we're going to handle it. So we've done this professional development with our entire staff. We will reiterate it again at our next professional development, I think, which is, what's the date, on the 16th? February 16th, next Wednesday? February 12th. We will be reiterating this on every other Wednesday with our staff to make sure that everyone understands that. If someone has any information contrary, do not feel like you're disturbing us, please bring it to our attention, because the sooner we know, the sooner it allows me to be able to deal with it. And that's what we're asking of our public, and that's what we're requiring of our staff. So I wanted the board to know you all have these copies, and the staff has copies. The parent letters have gone out, 2 of them to date so far. So I just wanted to update you all on how we're handling the immigration situation as it avails itself to date. Any questions from board members on that? So you have those documents, and we'll update them as needed. And again, I met with the principals again today to reiterate all of this, and then I have another principals meeting with them in the morning to go over student attendance, to make sure we're still following up, calling those parents again, and using the robocall system to let them know, send your children to school, your children are safe here. We have not had anyone trying to get into our buildings. And so we're appreciative of that. But in the event it happens, we do have these procedures in place that we monitor every day. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for the report. Will. All right, next on the agenda, citizen inquiry. If anybody wishes, we have a list here. You have 5 minutes to say what you need to say. And the first person on the list here is, Lizzie Welch, if I say that correctly.
Thank you.
You can stand up, come up, it's up to you. You can stand there.
Okay. So basically, you guys say we have open communication or whatever, but I emailed everybody on this board several times with several issues. Now you're telling me this kid saying they're calling immigration is a joke. And how is this funny? Because the shoe was on somebody else, and we said they're coming for slavery, it'd be riots. But yet we stay calm about it, and nothing is, to our knowledge, nothing was done. I emailed you Friday, Saturday, never got a response. I have emailed you about the teacher who said she was gonna call immigration. Nothing was done. I have emailed everybody, and I put everybody on the email for that reason, so nobody can say, I didn't get it. Everybody gets it. And I know that because you guys have said you received my emails, you just guys refuse to respond. Again, I have asked you several times, Ken, why are you sitting on this seat and it's illegal? You have 2 felonies. I understand, people make mistakes and they change, I believe in that. But right is right and wrong is wrong, and the law is the law. But yet, for some reason, y'all make it feel like you guys are above the law, and we have no say in what happens. And every time I ask, of course, everybody stays quiet, and nobody has a comment. Care to answer any of the questions?
Can I make one general statement before we do that? Because generally speaking, we don't respond to public inquiries.
Okay, so I emailed you guys
Let me finish,
privately.
if you don't mind. Let me finish, I don't want to take any of your time. I've said repeatedly in these meetings that I am open to meet with anyone. And I'm here almost every day. I don't have any requests to meet. I have a series of slew of emails. If you'd like to meet with me, I am most certainly welcome to meet with you. I just want to say that, that's for anyone. I am here. If someone has a concern, they have the right to meet with me. I'm here and I'm willing to open the meeting. It's just that simple. I just want to say that, now you can finish. I just want to say that for the
That's
record.
why I said, I sent it to everybody, not just you. I sent it to everybody so everybody can get the same email, and it's not like I'm just, one person, no. But nobody responds. I had Mr. Henderson come at me on Facebook. What does my Facebook have to do with anything going on here or whatever? Again, I don't think that was appropriate, and I let him know on there, it's not appropriate that we discuss this stuff.
No, it got nothing with the school district. I did explain to you, if you have an issue with me, you're more than welcome to ask me anything. You know, and I'm being straight up, a lot of people know me. Knock on my door, whatever, but just ask me. You know, I don't want you to be hearing things and then it's not true.
I'm not.
No. You asked me a question, I'm being for real. This ain't got nothing to do with the school district. If you got an issue, just after this, I'll talk to you. Everybody, anybody got an issue with me, after this, we can talk about whatever you need to talk about.
But it was,
All right.
I don't feel like it was really.
Next person would be Maria Monique, if I say that correctly. She's here. Okay.
She needs a translator. Which, no translator.
We don't have a translator available for her.
She's right here, but she needs a translator.
This is a very diverse district. There should be translators available for her.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Aquí está bien. Y yo le digo.
Ya esto viene pasando de mucho tiempo.
She's been with the district for a while now, basically, and she said, "Les digo."
Sí.
So basically, she was telling me earlier, and I was telling her that we're supposed to have translators. And her issue is, she said she's been with this district for years. Her kids gone to Lincoln, King, and are in Rosa Park. But she says that she has gotten to the point that she doesn't come to the meetings no more because nobody is here to translate for her. And she feels like the Hispanic community is just pushed to the side. She says there were several years where you guys didn't celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, but celebrated Black History Month. And basically, you know, she doesn't like that because it's like, what about us? Like, you know, it's not just about a certain culture, it's about everybody. She had an incident with her child having epilepsy, and they didn't call her that he had an attack or anything, and she had to find out later on. And when she came up to the school, basically the teachers said they had no knowledge of it, but the nurse said that she did let the teachers know that he has epilepsy. ¿Era todo?
Sí. También de después.
¿Estás segura? Sí. She said that's all.
Just which school? I'm gonna have the principal connect. with
She's
her.
at, her son is at Rosa Parks now, but he started at Lincoln. So he's gonna go.
Okay, thank you.
Next person, Susan, what is this, Susan Gutierrez?
Azucena Gutierrez. I would just like to speak on the fact that I have family at Roselle Parks Middle School, and there was an incident there very concerning that I feel that they didn't handle properly, because I emailed the principal and the vice principal about an issue of a teacher saying very non-professional comments about deportation in the classroom. So this baby came home crying, telling me what's gonna happen with my family. How do you think I feel? This baby goes to school for a safe haven. These people go to school to learn, and they're scared. And then a few weeks later comes a video of a little girl saying, "Oh, all the Mexicans need a hide. They're gonna deport child on February 3rd. I have yet to get a response from the principal nor the vice principal. Nobody has got back to me. And from what I've heard, she's getting escorted in and out of the school by police. What about these babies? She has been bullying children numerous times. Nothing has been done. Last time a mother came in here and she said, "My son is getting bullied by this woman." You told her, "Oh, you're humiliating your son." If we don't defend our kids, who will? Who will sit here and fight for our children if no one does? At that point, that baby speaking in that video saying, "Oh, the Mexicans are gonna get deported." That's not that baby's fault, because you know whose fault that is? Everybody sitting down right here and everybody who's teaching that school and the principal and the vice principal, because you guys failed her. Instead of teaching her inclusion and diversity, she's learning hate and division. And that's not right. And you see it right here. This lady needed a translator. Where was her translator? I did my research. This district is 60% Hispanic. And you're telling me you can't have one translator here for this woman? Not one?
They hired 5 days.
Yeah, where are the ones you guys hired? What happened to those? And on top of that, I agree with her as well. We should not, NOT, have a felon on this board teaching our babies that is okay. That's not right. And yes, I wanna speak with you after because I wanna know what your story is, but that's not right because that's illegal.
Also, I got 2 boys, they here tonight, they attend the school too, so understand, I want what's best for all kids, so come talk to me. please.
I wanna know your story because to the blind eye, you see that and that's not right. You think, oh my gosh, what's happening? I wanna know what this is about because that's not right. And I'm still in shock that she needed a translator and there wasn't one. What is her tax money paying for if she comes to a district school board meeting and there's not one translator sitting up here ready to attend the families? Like if this district isn't 60% Hispanic. What's going on with everybody here? We need to get with the program. We need to get updated because this is not right. And I appreciate you a lot for speaking on this and letting the parents know what's going on with this whole immigration thing. Because I have spoke to a few parents and they told me that they're scared to send their babies to school because of the whole immigration thing going on. So I'm very genuinely happy that you're speaking on that and letting the parents know that they have the support. But we need to stick to it because Miss Warren, and I will say her name, Miss Warren should not be in that school telling these babies she can't wait for the deportations to happen. These little kids are going to school crying. And I've had numerous people tell me she is a bully. She should, as a teacher, she's not even a teacher. I'm not even gonna call her that because she's a substitute teacher. So she should not have a science class. First of all, she only has her little high school diploma and her substitute, whatever they need to be a substitute. She should not be in there. That's ridiculous. And telling these babies, oh, I can't wait for deportations to happen and bullying children. As a teacher, that she has the role of a teacher, she should be competent enough to know that as a teacher, some of these kids only have school as a safe haven. Some of these kids go home to nothing. Some of these kids only eat at school. So the teacher shouldn't be sitting up here telling them this. School is a safe haven. Whether you believe in what you believe in, that's fine. But school is not the place nor the time. And I hope that you guys will respond appropriately to what that teacher said and what she has been doing to these children, because this is not her first time doing this to these children. This is not her first time. So you guys throwing stuff under the rug and letting this teacher bully kids, it has to end. We can't keep doing this. Because like I said, some kids only go to school and have a safe haven. These kids can't go home and be treated with loving parents. Some kids don't have that. So we need to work together as a community. And we need to include everybody. This is a diverse community. We need to make sure that when these kids go to school, that they're excelling, that they're doing great in school. Because right now, I don't want to send my kid to that school. I went to Washington Elementary School. I went to Rosa Parks and Thornton, and this is ridiculous. Thank you.
Next person, I guess is it Sharon? Sharon? Muse?
McGee, M-C-G-E. Sharon, S-H-A, yeah. My name is Sharon McGee. Good evening to everyone. I wanted to piggyback on what I succeeded and was saying as well with the kids in general. I just so happen to be looking over the report card, guys. Do you know that only 13% of these children are reading? Do you guys know that we are failing 87% of the children that go to our school? Do you guys understand that? In December, there was a strategic plan, a meeting about that. Have you guys released that? What is the update? What is the strategic plan doing to address that fact right there? I am a taxpayer, and my taxes just went up. So, and the money is there. You guys are getting the resources, but they're not trickling down to the students, and the students are suffering. That's a great margin of error. 87%, guys. We have got to do better than that for my tax dollars. What are you guys doing about the low test scores? That's really something that's concerning me right now. And so far, I've not seen anybody addressing it. Like nobody's saying nothing about it. Why aren't you guys worried about the outcomes of what you guys are doing? I know that the superintendents are leaving. So as we come up on this next election cycle, we're gonna pick new superintendents, and I fully believe that this board should take the time to let the next board do it because there's some opposition against you guys and what you guys have been doing. To me, this district is stagnant. We've had these low test scores persistently for a very long time, all through your tenure, sirs. My two interims, like it was 7, 9, and only 13% in the last 3 years. What are you guys gonna do to address that? I know you guys are leaving, but the next superintendent has to address that right there. And I just feel like, don't start trying to rush through and pick the next superintendent because the old ways of what you guys have been doing, it's not working. We need some new direction. We need some new leaders. We need some everything around here because this is stagnant. We have got to do better by these children. We're failing quite a bit of it. And I just want to bring that to you guys' attention so that you know that as you go into this superintendent search, that you guys should not be picking it unless you're sitting after April 1st. Because the community wants some input on this right here because we want better for our children.
Thank you. Next person will be Ismail El Hamid. Did I say that correctly?
Elamine.
Hamid?
Stand up here. Good evening, everyone. I'm coming as a guest to this community. I live in Chicago, I live in the Beverly area. I am a father of 4. The issues that we're hearing are not unique to this area, and I'm sorry to hear that there is conflict right now. I'm working on something that could be a solution to bring communities closer together, using parents as a resource for other parents. Having 4 children, we had 3 at the time, my wife and I. They were going to 3 different schools, and we were driving about 5-6 hours a day, dropping them off, picking them up, taking them to after-school programs, going to work, things like that. So I'm a software engineer. I designed a platform so that parents can find other parents that have overlapping routes, and they can carpool, and they can be a resource to each other. Taking stress off of our own shoulders, taking stress off the schools, allowing children to be in more after-school activities, allowing students to go to schools that are maybe outside of their neighborhood and really have a more cohesive network of parents helping each other out. So I've come here today with a couple of flyers. If I can leave these with anybody, I did talk to Ms. Neal outside. She did let me know about something going on March 20th for a parent day for the different schools in the district. It sounds like a perfect opportunity to do a vending event, so I do thank you for that while we were outside during the closed session. And if there's any other ways that I might be able to reach the parents, to reach the different youth leaders within the community, the school leadership, if there's any kind of communications that can go out to the parents, it's peer-to-peer, parent-to-parent driven. So there is no school dollar associated with it. The parents are helping each other out through the platform, just looking for ways to reach as many families as possible. It's open to all zip codes. We made it that way on purpose. It's actually a national service. I happen to live in Chicago, so this is where most of our users are right now, about 650 across the country. We just had a national AP article go out in December, and we're getting a lot more publicity, and I wanted to come and introduce it to this event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan Zawelski.
Yeah, good evening, board. My name is Ryan Cymbalski. I do the Harvey Historical Society and public, of course. I wanted to agree with what some of the commenters had said about, I know I had been here before when there have been some complaints about bullying, which were pretty serious. I just saw today the video with the young lady, and I used to teach junior high and high school, so I also agree, kids will be kids, but I think that these things should be addressed immediately. And I do want to disagree with Dr. Williams there. I think just because I get so frustrated with Mayor Clark at our city meetings where he does this all the time, when we serve on public boards, we actually need to be able to have these discussions publicly. So I'm not saying that the one-on-one meetings are bad, and it's good that you're offering them, but that's something that we consistently butt our heads against the wall with Mayor Clark, where he will say, well, come to the one-on-one, come to a one-on-one. And then basically that's an excuse for not to do anything. You come to a one-on-one and he says, hey, idiot, what do you want today? Oh, well, you want that? Well, I wish I were a billionaire. Have a good day. And then you go to the city meeting and you say, Mayor, why haven't you done X, Y, Z, A, B, C, whatever they're complaining about? And we want it on the record. So that's really important. Second, stop having your closed sessions in the beginning. These are working people. I'm barely able to pay my taxes. We work our asses off during the day. We're not going to come here. Don't make these people come here and wait an hour and a half. We waited an hour and a half for you. Did you realize it was that long? What did you do? Were y'all having dinner and, throwing back the drinks? I mean, so these people, they're exhausted. They have kids. They're working their asses off to pay their property taxes so you get paid. And by the way, don't think we didn't see those big fancy SUVs and the superintendent and all those other slots out there. Like, wow. Okay, so again, they are working their butts off to pay the taxes for you to ignore them. So I'm saying, please don't do that to the 147 taxpayers. We have enough issues in 152, but I'll always be a good neighbor and come here and speak up for them. Did I forget anything? But yeah, just let's address this head on, but it has to be publicly. Don't do the Mayor Clark thing. Come speak to me in private. That's code for, I don't give a fuck. Sit down. So, we don't always mean to portray it that way, but that is not acceptable. If you're a public official, we have to have these dialogues publicly. And it's okay to disagree too, but the conversations must take place publicly. Why? They have to be on the record. Otherwise, she's going to complain again, and she'll say, hey, but you told me that. Well, there's no proof because it was a private conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan. All right, let's move on.
Go right ahead. You could. I'm just recording. You can talk. Go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead, Ms. Ryan.
Okay. Well, you spoke about getting this information to us, and that you seem to be silent on it. For me, you've been very refreshing, coming here and speaking up on behalf of the children. You take me back to before I became stagnant. And when I was coming up here, it's pretty much saying the same things for another group of people. But the one thing that's consistent is that the people we're talking about are our children. And because I'm the oldest person on this board probably, and certainly have sat on this board longer than you. And I mean, you can Google me, find out who I am, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you all the stuff that I've done, said, and tried to do in behalf of children. I was really refreshed and very pleased when I was talking to God, as I do. Sitting on this board, I mean, you guys can leave, I can't, but I'm a volunteer. And a lot of people don't realize how much time gets spent. And in executive session, a lot of things get discussed that we can't discuss in public. And those of you who are running for office, when you get elected, if you get elected, then you'll see what I'm talking about. But as a person who at the national level worked diligently with representatives from the Mexican caucus and it was the Hispanic caucus, it was more than Mexicans in that group, and the Native Americans, along with the Black community, we put together a coalition to address our issues because we have got to look at America, its history, and how it's dealt with all of our people, and how we've been pitted against each other through all of these years, so that, when blacks started standing up for their rights, they opened up the borders freely. Haitians came, I used to call them the new ninjas, all kinds of people will come when I stand up and say I deserve my rights. Well, now I see Hispanic people standing up for their rights and their children's rights, and here we go again. Well, Native Americans, as I look at your shirt, Native Americans' country was stolen from them, and they were brutalized, and through treaties that were not honored, the land was taken from them. But I'm working for a group of Native Americans now who figured out how to use local control and coalitions to build an economic base. I'm saying to you, I saw in the Harvey World News that there was a coalition established between blacks and Hispanic people to fight for the rights of these children in these schools. I was pleased. When I asked God to release me from this very, very thankless position, I really didn't want to run again. I said, give me a sign. You guys were the sign. You stood up, along with some other people I don't see here. You decided to step up to the plate, take responsibility. And I'm saying that coalition that was described in the paper, in the newspaper, it's got to go far beyond just the 4 people that they described. This coalition to save our children needs to have parents, it needs to have staff, it needs to have senior citizens, local business people. We need to come together in behalf of educating our children. We had even a worse score some years back, I think 3 years ago, where only 1 student was qualified to go on the Thornton. And I'm saying, I'm paying millions of dollars for 1 student. And so I'm not silent, I never have been silent. And when it comes to issues of what we have done as a board wrong, I'm saying don't blame Kenneth Henderson, because Kenneth Henderson has a right to run for office. But boards are not supposed to approve that. And Kenneth Henderson and I know each other, and he knows I've talked to him long ago, but got mad at me. And so even last week you wouldn't even say good night.
Can we go on?
But no, we can't go on. But what I'm saying to you is this. Okay, thank you. What I'm saying is there needs to be a coalition of people in this community who will stand up for the kids. You want 5 minutes?
That's it.
You don't want to say nothing?
You can take
All right.
You can take
Take her 5
No,
minutes.
I'm
You
not
don't want
taking
to
5
stop.
minutes.
Take her 5 minutes.
Talking here is not it.
All right.
Just
Here we go.
saying that we need to come together and coordinate.
All right, the next item on the agenda, approve January payroll in the amount of $1,371,126.20. Can I get a motion on that one? Moved by Mr. Henderson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bowman. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ken Henderson,
Yes.
Caleb Bowman,
Yes.
Bonnie Radley, Pam Coogan, Mabel Chapman, Michael Smith.
Aye. The next item on the agenda, the payroll in the amount of $1,266,019.71. Is there a motion? Moved by Mr. Henderson, is there a second?
So moved.
So moved by, Ms. Bowman. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ken Henderson,
Yes.
Caleb Bowman,
Yes.
Pam Coogan, Bonnie Radley,
Aye.
Michael Smith,
Aye.
Mabel Chapman.
Next item, board committee report.
As you can see on your, agenda, our board, the policy committee gave me press policy issue number 117 was to be adopted under the unfinished business, and the policy administrative procedures to be implemented under new business as well. That is one.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman, for the, policy committee report. Next one is, department report. Business manager.
Good evening. Today in your packet, you have the budget versus actual executive summary. As of January 31st, we have realized $18 million in total revenues, and so far we have expended $18.7 million in expenditures. We are now 7 months into the fiscal year and progressing within budget. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. The next item is action items. If any board member wishes to discuss or remove any item from the consent agenda, it's your time to do so. If not, items 1 through 17, can I get a motion to approve items 1 through 17?
So
Move. Who said first? Okay, Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Chapman. Roll call.
Pam Coogan, Mabel Chapman, Michael Smith,
Aye.
Ken Henderson,
Yes.
Bonnie Radley, Caleb Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, the next item is, personnel, items 1 through 4, 10. Can I get a motion to approve items 1 through 10? Moved by Mr. Henderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Chapman. Roll call.
Ken Anderson,
Yes.
David Chapman, aye. Cam Taylor, Michael Smith,
Aye.
Hazel Bowman.
Aye.
Rodney Rapp.
The next item, unfinished business, final reading and adoption of, Press Plus Policy Issue 117. Anything you need to say? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the final reading and adoption of Press Plus? Moved by Ms. Kelly, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Henry, any discussion? Roll call.
Goodwin. Aye. Henderson.
Yes.
Chapman, aye. Bowman.
Aye.
Bradley. Smith.
Aye. The next item, new business, 1 through 7. Is there a motion to approve items 1 through 7?
Aye. So moved.
Moved by Ms. Chapman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by, Mr. Henderson. Roll call.
Chapman, aye. Henderson. Smith.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Bowman.
Aye.
Goodwin.
Next item, conference request, items 1 through 6. Is there a motion? Moved by Mr. Henderson. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Kelly. Roll call.
Henderson.
Yes.
Chapman. Chapman, aye. Bowman.
Aye.
Bradley.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye. Madam Secretary, any four requests?
We have a request from South News requesting the number of migrant, example of illegal aliens, non-US citizens currently enrolled in the school district that has been sent over to the FOIA department.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Chapman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Henderson. Roll call.
Chapman, aye. Henderson.
Yes.
Goodwin. Bradley. Bowman.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Time is 9:33.
Time is 9:33. Thank you for coming out. Yeah, I got real get that.
Well, I think there's another shirt. I'll give you my business card. I made them.
Oh yeah, let's see.
Together. Ready?
There you go. No one's illegal, baby. Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
Lovely. Yeah, give her your card. And I should clarify, I didn't mean,
To use that.
no, I didn't mean, well, yeah, that, cause, oh no, cause we were, I can't believe people even lasted. This is like the third or fourth meeting I've been to where we were made to wait almost 2 hours for closed session. So what I meant,
I can't.
well, what I meant to say, cause I don't know if I clarified, just to put it at the end, that's all.
Oh, I know.
Cause you can't avoid it, you can't avoid it, I know. But most boards put it at the end.
But one of the reasons, well, I didn't even
Yeah.
because I understand, you know.
Because and that's why I get so exasperated, because it's like we all feel like it's a technique to try to make people go away.
Every one of these copies, replace them with the simple.
Yep. That's why, you know.
No more arguments left.
Yep. Exactly. Most of it's common sense, you know what I mean? But if enough people say no to common sense solutions enough times, it gets infuriating. I know there've been some issues. I don't necessarily need that, but you can grab it. Just in case. What were you looking for? Oh, a phone? I don't.
It's okay, I'll find it.
Yeah, I don't see one.
You might accept the approval, but now you know you have it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks for lasting. But that is absolutely out of order. They should not be having, especially an hour and a half closed session. That needs to be held at the end. We should not be waiting. That really pisses me off. I didn't mean to get that. I didn't mean to swear, but thank you for sharing, guys.
Lexi, wait for me.
No, you're fine. I didn't even mean to swear, but you know, after waiting an hour and a half, you get really irritated.
Excuse me.
No, that says board members.
Oh, there's your tax dollars at work, baby. Okay. And Bonnie, I definitely agree with your comments though about having a coalition. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Yep.
And just people that don't care about you don't have to get involved.
And you know, we have the same issues in 152 because you know I'm running for 152. The same issues. They're just better at covering it up. Same issues though. Same issues. Yes, they are.
But the,
I'm sorry.
but the reason, just like I said, what you
That
do
explains it.
is you put people in place.
Makes sense. Makes me nervous.
Right, exactly. And then that's an easy fix, right?
Before your time.
That's an easy fix, right? Exactly.
That's what I'm telling about Nancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so proud. She did her internship at the community center.
I did back in high school
when I
when I was
was
at
there.
Thornton.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
then.
And then she went on to New York, became Victorian, and she did what I prayed that y'all do all the time. She came back home.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Nancy's
This is
granddaughter,
true.
I'm like,
Very
get
true.
out of here. No, what was she?
My mom is.
You're right. That's what I want to see more of our kids coming back. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Come back too.
Yep. No, definitely. Definitely.
I have it on silence.
Well, if you find it, Ileana, if you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's Ileana.
Oh. And then Ileana, well, anyway, I'll tell you later. Más tarde. Porque hay cámaras. Porque hay cámaras aquí.
¿Hay cámaras?
Sí, video. Mirar.
Y escuchar, ¿no?
Miran. Escuchan. Sí. Absolutamente.
¿Cómo?
No, I just said absolutamente. But oh, they really need to do that closed session at the end.
I'm waiting to see Miss Kalani on the phone.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
Yeah, because Kim left too.
I was tempted to maybe try to ask some of the members a question at the end, but and I was like, oh, they're
skedaddle.
no, they're still in there. But like, what was Michael Smith? I really was hoping he would just share.
Okay.
Bye bye.
He just walked into the door. Wait, we're not.
Because it's that clear.
Right. I was wondering what did Mr. Smith want to say? I was like, I wish he would have just shared.
Oh, he saw you recording. He was like, nah, I'm good. Come on, you guys.
Yeah, I wasn't the only one either.
Let's go. Come on, let's go. Can I get my phone, sir? Did I have to Then you fighting with your little
Adios.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, that was sort of good.
Dude, I can't believe they counted Bonnie's minutes too. And she's on the board.
That's pretty
I was
petty.
like, wow.
Yep.
Look at that. Nobody safe.
And I do not turn the see, I keep the camera on because, you know, we've had the worst things happen after the meetings. Well, and some of the most interesting things, too.
All right, y'all have a good night. Be safe, home.
Okay, thank you. So this is West Harvey and Dixmoor.
Okay.
Both of those districts. Ooh, it feels good again. I feel like it got warmer. Did it get warmer or did I get hotter?
No, we got hot in there.